Online threats should be reported to OSHA. I've talked about that in a previous video in the post-Charlie Kirk era, particularly as people are glorifying violence and also making future death threats, threatening other people. These things need to be reported. I talked about the importance of reporting them through OSHA and that mechanism. And following that, I had some calls on a how-to. People wanted me to go through the form and show them how to submit that. So I said, hey, let me do a quick video for you guys. I'm on vacation, but I have time to do a quick video to help everyone out. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. Now, I don't have a PowerPoint for you today, but I have the actual form online. And this is something I will put the link in the description to the video, also pin it in a comment so you can have it there and you can spread this out and give this as sort of a little bit of a helpful hint. The form is very, very easy to fill out. It's not very complicated, but I want to just go through it and give you some kind of examples here so that you have a starting point. Of course, as always, this needs to be based on a factual, credible threat, a credible factual incident. This is not something you should be doing to create a false incident or anything else. In fact, I'm going to show you at the bottom of this form, there is a punishment for any false report. So this must be on a genuine case where you have reasonable fear for your safety in the workplace based on a situation that's going on online. So let's talk about this now and let's get right into this. So first of all, the form starts out here. This is the OSHA online complaint form. It's under osha.gov/form/OSHA7. You can get to it directly from that link. You have, here you go, an emergency notice. Do not report an emergency using this form or email. To report a fatality or imminent life-threatening situation, call the toll-free number. So you have that right there. This is not, once again, you know, if there's something that is meeting those criteria, you'd go there. But for most of the online threats, the things we're talking about today, that's something you want to use this form because while it is important, it isn't quote unquote what they would call imminent. However, if there is something imminent, whereas somebody says, hey, I'm going to go today to, do something, you need to report that to law enforcement and also call this number, the imminent number on OSHA. So let's go in here. I just picked a random establishment name of Switch that has no resemblance to any existing company at all whatsoever. So you got to put their name in there and put that accurately. Make sure that is the accurate business name. That is not the slang. It's not, what you call it on the streets. This is the actual legal business name, the establishment name. But you put the site address. I just put a sample one here, 350 Gore Street, California, San Francisco. So state, obviously it's easy. City, obviously it's easy. Zip code 94104. And once again, random stuff that has no resemblance to anything at all in existence. A mailing address, if it's different from this location, maybe it's a headquarters that has a different location, you'd plug that in there. Then you want to put the management official. This should be the top person that you can get to. I just picked one, Tom Clancy here, right? Let's just pretend that's a person that's in charge. Let's say that the CEO or the head manager, you do not, and I repeat, do not want to put HR here. Do not put the HR official. Go above that. Look at your corporate organization chart. Find out maybe who's your department head at a very least of your actual department, or even go above that, C-suite, CEO, CFO, CMO, somebody who has real authority in the company to make real changes. That's who you want there. Put the telephone number either of the business or the management official and the type of business. I just plugged in media company, pick something at random right there. For the hazard description, this is what people have been really asking me about. This is something that is very, very important because you need to make sure you're describing what happens. I know if you look this up online, there are complaints you can file with very minimal description, right? You could file with almost nothing in the description. Yes, but I think more is better, but keep it brief. Keep it to a sentence or two, right? Maybe 3 sentences, that's perfectly fine, right? You could say, hey, I saw a online threat. You've got up to 4,000 characters, but you can keep it relatively brief. That's fine. If you need more detail, go into as much detail as possible, but you can say, hey, this threat existed on LinkedIn, Reddit, Discord, TikTok, Blue Sky, any of the places where this thing might exist. And this threat, and you can describe it, you can say exactly what was said, say, put myself and others in fear for our safety in the workplace. I would include that phrase exactly. Put myself and others, my coworkers, at fear of our safety in the workplace. That's the magic words. It's something you want to get in there. Fear of safety. Because remember, OSHA is about safety. And this is all about safety. Once again, this isn't about left, right, or center or whatever else. It's not about politics. It's about safety. And once again, everybody, no matter what their politics are, should be able to agree that at the workplace and at home, but in this we're dealing with the workplace, everyone should feel safe in the workplace. That is just a basic right for you to feel safe when you're working. You should not have to feel like the person next to you might do something to you or take action or come to your workplace or do something insane and hurt you and hurt others while you're working. You should not have to live under that constant fear. So you put that down there. You can say this potentially, because you also have to explain who does this affect. I would say if this is if this is a threat, it can potentially affect all the employees in my workplace, especially those that do not share the radical, violent beliefs of the employee posting the threats. I think that's a very good description of who it may affect. Especially, you might also add in there it to affect yourself, because you have contrary views to that person, and they view anybody who has these views as somebody who is open season, where it's open season to go out and take these people out, which is what these people are saying. What these people are saying online, which is the unhinged thing, and I see it all over the place, is they are saying that people are valid targets and are valid, to be, have violence or death taken out against them because they do not share their political beliefs. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable at all. And this is completely grounds for termination. And one thing I want to bring up here, because a lot of people are making a false argument, death threats and calls for violence have never been protected by the First Amendment, ever, at any point. So at anybody who tries to argue, oh, you don't know the Constitution or whatever else, no, that's never been a thing, ever. So anybody who tries to pull that is usually trying to do some sort of like moralistic gaslighting or something else, or they just don't know what they're talking about. They're very low IQ. So that gets you for the hazard. Once again, don't use this exactly. This is just generic language. What you're going to want is to put in the specific facts that apply to your scenario, right? The very specific facts. I was just giving some general outlines. You can see, hey, look, even 2 or 3 sentences is enough. If you want to put 2 paragraphs, whatever, go ahead. Hazard location. So you could put all corporate locations if you really wanted to put that, right? You could also put, the headquarters, right? So if you just want to put the headquarters, because most of the employees are at the headquarters, just put that out there, explain what's at risk, who's at risk. If you have remote employees, put that down. They also ask the question here, has this condition been brought to the attention of the employer and the government agency? Tick the boxes if it's true. If you've already told your employer, tick the box. If you've already told the government, perhaps the State Department of Labor, maybe law enforcement, put that in there. And if you've told more, like local police, right? Let's say you've reported it to the police as well. Maybe it's very severe. You put that in there as government agency. Now, one thing you can do, this is just a strategy, is you can say to your HR department, and if you want to pair this with talking to HR, because once again, I think that talking to HR is not a problem if you also file the OSHA report. Go into HR and say, I am filing an OSHA report. You're going to see the light drain from their eyes when you tell them you're doing this, right? And now you can tick that box and say, yeah, I informed my employer. Or you could go to your employer, this is another alternative, and say, hey, listen, HR, this makes me feel unsafe, and if there's not action taken on this and investigation immediately, I'm filing an OSHA report. Also another option, right? A lot of options here. Once again, I believe in a belt and suspenders approach, which essentially means, having backups to get this done, because cleaning up the workplace, cleaning up corporate America must be done. It's not optional. We need to get this done. We need to make this happen for the country. So let's do this down here. We have a little correction, because I had forgotten that even former employees can apply. I actually made a misstatement about former employees. So even a former employee can actually give an OSHA report. So you have former employees, current employees, Federal Safety and Health Committee, representative employees, or other. And once again, I think most people are going to fall into the former or current. So you're going to want to be reporting stuff, once again, that is factual, that is going on. But, if you know about it and you want to submit a report as a former employee, let's say you formerly worked at Switch and you no longer work there, you could go and you can file this as a former employee. Now, here's the big one. This is really big. You cannot reveal your name to the employer. So it can remain anonymous, right? It can remain anonymous. This is super important. If you want to remain anonymous, click do not reveal my name to employer. Now, if you click this, the only people that get your name are going to be OSHA, and that's so they can contact you. So you do have to fill out your name here. You know, I put Average Joe here with your number, your mailing address, etc. You do have to do that, but only OSHA will contact. They will not reveal that to the employer. It will remain anonymous. So don't worry about that. And either way, you know, you can click one or the other. I mean, there's reasons for being anonymous, and there's reasons that you might want to actually speak up, and that'd be good. You also want to make sure you check this box. This is a very important one. If you check this box, this constitutes my electronic signature. If the box is checked, the submission shall be considered an authorized written signature. This is important because signed complaints typically are taken more seriously. So I would go ahead and click this box. Fill out your name, mailing address, state, your email address, your title if you're a representative, if this is something you're doing on behalf of an organization, and make sure all this is accurate. Very important here, guys. I've been telling you this since yesterday, but I want to reemphasize it here. There is a punishment for unlawful statements, up to $10,000 fine and imprisonment of up to 6 months. So that is super important because you do not want to file a false complaint. Do not file false complaints. Only file them based on facts, based on things you know. Do not become a person that is stooping to the level of making up things that are complete lies. Don't do it. Guys, let's get these reports in, the ones that are valid, and let's go and help out, help fix corporate America. Let's do it for Charlie. Let's do it for the country, and let's make it a better place. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like the video, and I will catch you on the next one.